Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a twin flame channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about the Aries new moon taking place on April 1st at 2:24 a.m. if you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States. If not, please check a time zone converter for your local time. This is the new moon for twin flames. And when I started reading, I noticed some patterns. And when I talked to my guides about what I was noticing, they said, you want to pay attention, Kay, to the way what happens at the Aries new moon each year and what happens at the Taurus new moon each year. Because Aries, being the very first sign of the zodiac and being a masculine sign, all the signs are either masculine or feminine. Aries can represent what is about to happen for all of the masculine energies here on Earth, that Aries new moon. Taurus, being the first feminine sign of the zodiac, can represent what's about to happen in the next year for the feminine signs here on Earth, or the feminine energies. So what's interesting, I started calling the Aries new moon the divine masculine's new moon, because it really shows us where the divine masculine energy is going to be going, what it's dealing with at the place of the new moon when it takes place at the beginning of the astrological new year. And this is it. This is our astrological new year for 2022. It starts with the Aries new moon. I will be doing the divine feminine's new moon when we get to it in about a month's time, that new moon in Taurus. But this is the new moon for our internal masculine energies. And we all have masculine and feminine energy, regardless of the body type we incarnated into or transitioning into. I personally, am a little old school. I like to go ladies first. So we're going to talk about the divine feminine energy, and then we'll close with what's going on with the divine masculine energy. So we have, interestingly enough, the new moon taking place here in that first masculine sign of the zodiac. That is Aries. Aries at 11 degrees, there's sun and moon conjunct Chiron and conjunct Mercury. Now, this is a significant new moon because Chiron is about to play a major role in divine masculine energy for the remainder of the astrological year. This Chiron energy, I spoke about it at length on the free 2-hour live about what is Chiron, light and shadow, and how to begin the process of mastering the wound and becoming the healer, because Chiron can represent that wounded healer in our birth chart. So if you missed that, it's still here on YouTube. It is absolutely free. And so this particular lunation is going to start to bring up some of our internal woundedness and our pain around our essential selfness. Aries is that sign of I am. It is our essential self. So if you happen to miss the extended version of that free version on YouTube, the Master Your Chiron Wound Workshop, a lot of you have emailed and said, hey, is that going to become available again? Can I just buy the recording? And the answer to that is I don't have any plans to make it available at this time. So if you want to have a look at what Chiron represents in your chart, especially given that this new moon is going to color our masculine energies and is so Chiron heavy for the next year, book a private reading. That's the best way to do that. Those are available over at kmonastro.com for the April calendar. Now, when we see this, I'm just going to briefly overview this because I did a large overview in the Lightworker energy update. But this particular lunation is talking about the need to deal with some of our pain when it comes to who we are, when it comes to what we bring to the table and what we want to accomplish and achieve. There can be an undercurrent of not enoughness with this Aries new moon that's extraordinarily conscious to us, as opposed to something in the back of our mind. something that we can just ignore at this particular moment in time. That sense of not enoughness, Chiron and Aries, whoo, she can be loud. He can be loud, I should say. It can be an energy of really being deeply in touch with a sense of not belonging, a sense of, other people being smarter, prettier, more moneyed, having, I don't know, better behaving kids if you want to go that far. Or maybe they don't have XYZ problem that you have, or they don't have XYZ, wounding or challenge that you've had to overcome. And so this is an energy where we can count ourselves out before the game has even begun during this new moon. And so during this year, we're going to be faced with a need to bring ourselves back online. And I talk about the other energies available at this Aries new moon in that light worker energy update that support us with bringing ourselves back to the table, remembering ourselves back to the party of life. Okay. There's also a large relationship energy to this new moon and this lunation because of the placements of Venus and Juno here and Saturn. There's a lot of commitment energy going on here with these energies square the nodes. Venus and Juno tend to represent relationships. Saturn represents commitment. Juno can represent commitment as well. So if you want to hear about the relationship piece of this, have a look at that Lightworker energy update because it is a relationship heavy new moon as well. And I go into detail about that for collective energy there. Let's get into divine feminine energy for this particular lunation. So we've got Juno, the energy I read as divine feminine, directly squaring the nodes. Now, the nodal axis is all about what we're meant to be learning and moving toward. That's the north node. South node, all about what we're meant to be moving away from. Okay. What's interesting about this lunation is that we have North Node Taurus there, and that North Node Taurus is all about embracing feminine energy. It is the first feminine sign of the zodiac, embracing the earthly feminine energy in a lot of ways because it is an earth sign. This is about feminine form, feminine body, feminine sensuality, feminine feeling, feminine receptivity, and capacity to hold and channel energy and direct and guide it. This is also about the feminine sensibility of pleasure and sensuality and our capacity to lean into that as a life-preserving force. In life, our programming as humans is to move toward what feels good and move away from what hurts and what's painful. North Node Taurus and South Node Scorpio is precisely that programming. It's about moving toward what allows us to extend our life. The fixed sign of Taurus is about life extension in many ways. It's the energy of perpetual spring. And in that energy of perpetual spring, the question becomes, what does it take to have more life and even more life and even more life, life without end, to live in the ever blossom, the ever bloom, and a fertility energy of ever expansion. The opposite energy is Scorpio. It's the energy of ever transformation. It's the energy of the regeneration cycle. It's that energy of death, afterlife, rebirth. It is divine alchemy, something that changes from one state to another via the passageway of transformation and endings. That scorpionic passageway can also include, instead of pleasure, a lot of pain. It can include a lot of hardship, and it can include a significant amount of death and recognizing where we need to let go and stop holding on. Now, North Node Taurus bringing us into this perpetual spring energy, South Node Scorpio. Again, that's a Northern Hemisphere reference. Switch it if you're Southern. South Node Scorpio into that perpetual fall energy, the leaves literally falling from the trees, moving us into the winter, that dormant state of transformation before we get to spring again. That's with the partnership asteroid showing us, or with the node showing us, move toward North Node, leave behind South Node. And that's for the collective at this time. What we have is this collective need to embrace the feminine principles of giving and preserving life. Now, when you have a planetary energy squaring the nodes, a square to the nodes represents something that we have done before. You can look this up on the internet. Squares to the nodes represent what we can call the skipped step. In other words, we have faced a moment like this in our past lifetime or past to this life, where we have needed to ask ourselves, what is going to give us more life versus what is going to cause us to move into those patterns of self deconstruction. At this time, we're all being guided toward is to stand toward more life, move toward more life. We are being asked to let go of patterns that ask for us to lean into self deconstruction. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this, Juno here is about divine femininity. And so the choice becomes what allows our internal divine femininity to have greater expression here on earth, as opposed to what drags our divine feminine energy into more cycles of death and endings and transformation and pain and shadow. There's a time and a season to master scorpionic energy, and there's a time and a season to master Taurian energy. This is the season for mastering Taurian energy and standing firm in the preservation and protection of feminine life force energy here on earth, divine feminine life force energy here on earth. And with the divine feminine squaring the nodal axis, we've been here before. Many of you are recognizing this as I'm saying it to you from some of your past lives even. South Node can represent our access to past life memory and past life experience. And when we've got that planet squaring the nodes, we have an opportunity to make a better choice, a different choice than the choice we've made in a past life. This is a cosmic redo, a cosmic opportunity to bring and anchor divine feminine energy here, that's Juno, into the earthly feminine realms, that's Taurus. Beautiful opportunity, beautiful energy. And so where you're faced with the choice at this Aries new moon, and there are some significant choices here, what you're looking for is the energy you want to utilize your divine masculine energy of providing and protecting, to stand up for your internal divine feminine energy, her sensitivity, her fertility and abundance, her capacity to be sensual and to feel. You want to use your divine masculine energy to make a home for your divine feminine energy here on earth. And that's the divine alchemy we're being asked to work with at this Aries new moon. Another way to think of it for those of you who may at this time be externally self-referencing for reasons that have everything to do with what you're here to learn and how you're here to serve. If there is a version of you that is diminished by one choice because you are somehow, when you're dealing with that person, place, or circumstance, you're less bright, you're less shiny, you're less yourself, you have less to give. You're more, the best of you is more hidden and goes into cycles of reconstruction. That's the choice to skip at this time. If there's a choice in front of you that allows you to be more, to give more, to have more to share, if there's a choice in front of you that will resource you more, that's the choice to make at this particular new moon. because that's the one that's going to water and resource your divine feminine energy so that you have something to give to others from a place of fullness within yourself. And that's the interesting part of this, right? Divine feminine is sitting in the sign of the collective. And so there's an invitation here to make a choice that's not just going to benefit you selfishly, but allow you to be a more rich and resourced person for the people you're here to serve. Now, where you've been interacting with a person or a circumstance, and it's diminishing you, it's taking away, it's causing more pain, it's bringing up more of your shadow side. Unfortunately, at this time, that's the one to let go of, even if it has given much in the past. This is a moment in time where you may be recognizing it hasn't given as much as it has taken from me, and it's time for me to let it go. Okay. So that's the importance of this moment in time. It's critical for all of us to anchor divine feminine energy here in our physical forms, in our body forms, regardless of whether that body form is masculine, feminine, or something in between. This is the moment to make a home for our divine feminine energy and her light here on earth. Earth deeply needs that at this time. Okay. Now, what's also interesting, if you want to bring this back into the twin connection conversation, is we have divine feminine here needing to be anchored into the twin connection. There's a necessity for both counterparts to anchor divine feminine energy into the connection as she's being ushered into the collective life force at this time in Aquarius. Okay. And that's going to be a thematic through the entirety of the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle in 2022 and in 2023, integrating divine feminine energy with that North Node in Taurus. So if you've been curious about how this plays out for you, you want to look to the area of your chart that's Aquarian governed and that's Taurian governed. And for my star schoolers, we've looked extensively at houses. It's these two houses that wants you to bring your divine feminine energy light to it right now. It's here that your life is calling for you, and this new moon is really prompting and requesting from you to use your masculine energy to help your divine feminine energy succeed. Use your divine masculine energy in service to your divine feminine energy. And by doing this, you're going to be of greater service to the collective at this time. So if you're curious about your chart and how to work with this, definitely go ahead and book a reading for yourself. I'm over at kmoonastro.com. You're going to find a lot of illumination in a session together where we can look at how this breaks down for you. Now, for some of you, but not all, this energy, if you want to read the planets as people in your life with ascribed gendered energies, I'm going to get into some very literal translations of this energy now. What we have going on here, for those of you who anchor in the polarity of divine feminine energy, meaning when you speak about yourself, you speak about yourself as divine feminine, as opposed to recognizing that both energies are there, you find yourself more definitively anchored in divine feminine energy. What we have going on here is divine feminine sitting right in between a soulmate, whom I read as Mars, and divine masculine, whom I read as Jupiter. She's literally in the middle of them. She's got 1 degree to go before, not 1 degree, but she's got 30 degrees to go before she touches divine masculine. She's a little bit closer to soulmate energy right now because they're both in the same sign of Aquarius. And what's interesting about this is that because this isn't, again, skipped step, squaring nodes, cosmic choice, this is an opportunity for divine feminine energies to choose many of you, not many, but some, between a divine masculine counterpart and a soulmate counterpart. And this in a karmic choice kind of way, meaning something from a past life where you maybe did not have the choice before, or you had the choice before and you made a choice in the past between the two that didn't ultimately serve you. This is your karmic redo. Okay. This karmic redo opportunity, if you're looking for, well, which choice do I make? What you're looking to do is integrate a way you're looking for the choice that allows you to bring more of your divine feminine self to earth. Which partnership, which structure of which relationship allows you to operate at your highest feminine form, as opposed to the shadow side of Juno, which can be very codependent. It's an energy that can be very needy, vindictive, vengeful. That shadow side of Juno, it's an energy that can be extraordinarily self-righteous and possessive. If you've got one partner that brings those parts of you out, this and the other partner that does not, this particular new moon is a karmic choice to let go of the one that constantly has you in shadow and step into the connection that allows you to live more in your light at this time. It's not to say something won't come back round with the other person at a later date, but this particular moment is about anchoring that feminine energy, that feminine light. Okay. For some of you, because this is Aquarius, again, she's sitting in Aquarius is the new, the evolutionary quantum leap forward. It is the next. For some of you, you're going to be finding new ways of being in partnership, Juno being that partnership asteroid. And because all three are kind of hanging out here in close proximity to one another, what we have going on for some of you is, hey, I want to be with the soulmate and the divine masculine. I want to figure out how to have an open relationship or a throuple of some sort, or an arrangement that allows all of us to be satisfied and my feminine to be deeply watered and nourished through that arrangement. And so Aquarius, air sign, thought, communication, mind, Juno is sitting in it. And she's sitting in the middle. She's the one that's going to lead the conversation here about how do I have both? How do I have it all? Because my femininity can hold it all. Okay. So for some of you, that's what this is going to be about, is bringing that, either making the choice or deciding that the choice is both and as opposed to either or. And how do you balance this here in the third dimension, North Node Taurus, third dimension is Earth, right? Okay. So very interesting energy here. Again, if you want to unpack it all, we can do that in private session. I'm over at kmoonastro.com and we can look at that. And this kind of brings us into the divine masculine placement for this lunation, right? So the divine masculine energy is here at the 21st degree of Pisces. Okay. And while that's not very close to where the divine feminine sits, she's basically 30 degrees away in Aquarius. They're close enough for the two of them to be looking at each other going, are we doing this or are we not doing this? There's a bit of that vibration there between them, a bit of a pregnant pause. We have divine masculine energy speaking to Neptune at this divine masculine's new moon. And there's a sextile here to the north node and a trine here to the south node. Again, that nodal conversation, karmic choices, karmic opportunities, karmic movement here. There's a lot of consequence and significance to this particular Aries new moon. And it's no accident. I mentioned last year, the union window has opened. It peaks in January of next year and subsides as we close out next year. And so there's a lot of this kind of like karmic choice here, anchoring for divine counterparts, twin flames, whatever label you want to put on these kind of relationships that have a deep spiritual nature to them. There's this energy of, wow, what I'm doing now, man, I can see this is going to be of consequence later. And I need to really be accountable for these choices that I make now. So, with the divine masculine energy, and this is going to be something divine masculine energies are working with all the way through the Aries to the Aries new moon of next year. There's an energy of integrating more spirituality into all situations in our life. Neptune and Pisces can represent our connection to spirit. There's a willingness and a call from within to take a more spiritual approach, tuning in more, being more intuitive, having an amplified sensitivity in divine masculine energetic fields, especially if there's been a little bit of any bit really of past life karma, past life drama, stuff that needs to be let go of during this time as the divine masculine speaks in harmony to that south node, which is all about letting go. When we've got divine masculine speaking in harmony to that south node, it's time. There's a signal here, a flow from the masculine life force energy fields toward the south node portal of release, releasing and letting go of things that are Scorpio related, things, releasing fear, releasing shame, guilt, releasing things that may have hurt us and then haunted us, releasing things that we've allowed in this lifetime to have power over us, where we've given our power away. Releasing those kinds of contracts and agreements at this time is a big part of the way divine masculine energy can use this Aries new moon and this year to be ready to hold more union energy as we move into next year. There's some recognition here of perhaps lingering emotions from situations from the past, addictions or coping mechanisms that don't serve us, and even emotional connections that drag our masculine energy down. That Neptune conjunction and trine here to that south node, this can help us understand at this time the cosmic why for some of the pain our divine masculine energy has been through. Now, I'm going to be honest, this period of time for our divine masculine energy fields, it can be a bit depressing. There can be a bit of a drag to remember some of the stuff that needs to come up in order to come out and get healed at this time. But Neptune gives us a chance for this much needed healing. It gives us a chance to make peace and let go. It gives us a hope for more and better in the future. And it gives us an opportunity to understand it so that we can forgive it and have compassion for ourselves, the selves that we were and the people who may have hurt us. And it gives us that chance to see that what we may have been through that, but we are not that. And we don't have to hold our future hostage because of something we may have gone through in the past. This is going to be really specific for many of us to the house that is governed by Pisces. And for my star schoolers, right, we want to have a look at some of these things. For example, that second house, we've talked about second house being about money, self-worth, and self-esteem, and where those two can combine. If you've got wounding there, this is your chance to let it go. 10th house being all about maybe some career regrets. 5th house could be regrets or around kids or projects where there have been challenges or misgivings in the way things may have been handled in the past. Wherever this is for you, as best as you're able, especially with this Chiron conjunct moon thing at this lunation and bringing it up to consciousness, because Mercury, the mind, is a part of this combination. Wherever this is for you, be gentle as you can with yourself. Try to understand why you feel the way you do about yourself or your past. Have compassion for your wounding and look for solutions that afford you the kind of kindness that you'd give to others if they told you what you are actively going through now, and expect, or the kind of kindness that you'd expect from others. This is an important opportunity for self love. Now, this energy is really with us in an acute way through the month of April, through the end of April. So if you missed the Master Your Chiron Wound workshop, but you're feeling this heaviness and this energy and you want to figure out how to heal this, we can look for the way to heal your Chiron energy inside of a private session with me. If you want to book that over at K-Moon Astro, the link is below this video, you can. And we can unpack your personal path to healing. And we can also use the time to have a look at where this forgiveness and letting go energy is present in your chart. So you can be intentional about leveraging this energy, because there is a lot of forgiveness and letting go opportunity right now with Jupiter and Neptune talking to one another. You can utilize this to move forward without dragging the weight of the past into 2022 and 2023. Well, like I said, this energy will be acute through April, but it's going to be with us until next April as the start of the astrological new year. So it's a great time to have a look at how to work with this for yourself, especially if you heard something that resonated for you in the way this is impacting divine masculine energetic fields. This is the right time to do some self-reflective work. Thank you so much for being here, for liking, subscribing, and sharing this content. If you heard something that resonates, definitely hit that subscribe button. It helps the content circulate and make sure that you have access to this at the next new or full moon. Thank you so much. Take great care and bye for now.